morning, I'm Joseph. I'm not just your a friend, but I'm your brother. So you're my family, I promise family, and family in the. And so today my topic will be on the biblical origin in the Chinese characters, but how can this impact the future, not just the Chinese culture? Now this photo reminds me of God's promise. It was 22 years ago when I completed my Bachelor of Theology. I said, God, what should I do? And God says that you're going to finish your master and your doctorate just before you turn 50. I said, God, I'm not a study time. Wow, it takes many years to get a doctorate. And God says that you will not be sitting in a class to get the doctorate. And guess what? These two papers that I have been awarded by Promise is actually by thesis submission. Okay, and that's on the master and the doctorate. And guess what? On the day I graduated, the next day I turned 50. It was a 22 years wait. But what you're going to hear this morning is a 30 years journey. If you find it very simple and easy to understand, you got it right. Because that's what it's all about. And so, to God be all the glory. Not forgetting that, for Dr. Dexter Lowe, who have actually graciously introduced me to Dr. Adele and also Dr. Mike. And through them, they actually guided me to be able to complete the thesis that I've written. And so the master degree was on the train-the-trainer manual. This is what the whole value of the project is all about. This is a 3 days training, maybe 2 days of lecturing, and then 1 day will be practical. So we will certify the teacher to teach these things. Okay, this is the whole focus of the project. Not about just writing a book and having Joseph going around talking about this topic, right? Okay, so through that training manual, I submitted together with a practicum where I actually spoke to 30 teachers and pastors in the level of master and doctorate degree. They were in my class. I think the highest compliment that I got from all the feedback, if there is a score to it, I scored about 97, which means to say that it works. But I think the highest compliment is they say in 1 day we have learned so much of the origin of Chinese characters, and which means not the character as it is, but the word, the script of the Chinese, and the Bible in a systematic way. Yeah, we have heard about all these things, but not in such a manner, not such systematic way. All right. So the doctorate thesis is on the compendium of the Chinese characters with a biblical perspective, and is now further progressing into this project called Chinese alphabet. And this is a 1 hour class. You can run it for 20 lessons. So this is what the trainer is going out to teach. 1 hour, 20 lessons, an hour each. In that hour, they will learn about the 10 components. So which means that you have about close to 200 components to learn. But it's not difficult. Okay, I know you got A to Z, only 26. But these are all pictorial. Okay, but with a biblical meaning. That's what is exciting. Okay, right? I would like to, because the time is so short, there's a lot to cover. I would like to use a video to basically set our pace, which
goes back to beyond the roots of their history and culture. It is amazing to see how the Chinese have
and preserve their unique identity as a people. Many great inventions that have impacted the modern world originated in China. Chinese writing, in contrast to the Western alphabet, is based on pictures that form words. The Chinese word to create is formed by the word speak, dust, life, and walk. As God spoke to the dust received the life and was able to walk. The next word, righteous.
I actually, in 2017, embarked onto a field trip with a companion with me, a brother. And so I traveled all the way from the Cheong, and you can see that there's a heavenly lake there. All right. Each time when you come to China and you look at the name, they don't name it for nothing. There is some form of a connection and a history, a past to it, and they name them. So I traveled about 12,000 kilometers in about 23 days, visiting 12 ancient city, not for travel, and I ended up in Tibet. I have to verify what I'm teaching, because that could be verified, okay? So, it's quite amazing. I came back, I was so full. I said, God, you can take me home. I'm ready to go. That's how satisfied I was. But it's only for me. There are many who needs to hear this. There are many who need to learn about this. And so I want to just quickly bring, just a clip to know that there'll be a lot of story in there. But just quickly, this is a very unique ancient drawing of a man and woman intertwined with a serpent tail. Okay, obviously it's not depicting people of that kind of nature, but this is one and only in the world. Okay, you see the word there at the far hand corner. Okay, you can call it the non-binary. Okay, right, and this is exactly what it all happens in the beginning when man, Adam and Eve, all right, actually disobey God. Okay, they are what we call walking as human, but when they begin to follow the evil one, they became to walk in the ways of the serpent. So it's not about person having a snake, all right? I never have that in the Chinese history, but they have a different name. It's called Fu Si and Niwa, who are regarded as the first human in the Chinese culture. Someone on the internet is suspecting, could they be Adam and Eve? I was on the field, and that's part of the reason why my eyes are just...
Wow.
Chengdu, okay, this was unearthed about 3,000 years ago. And this is called the bronze tree. This bronze tree depicts the creation story of a tree, hand, knife, and a serpent. And the Chinese government got no idea what is this all about. But it was found in the soil in the land of China. Okay, now that is a replicate, and that basically, they just are displaying this. Now we're just warming up very quickly. Is that this is all about education. Education is communication. We can only effectively educate if we speak the same language. Yes? No one, but not one particular language in the past. Okay, I'm talking about the common language has dominated the whole civilization, and English is just about under 300 years only. And what we're talking about here is currently the most used language in the world, not in terms of places, but speakers. All right? It's Chinese. And we are perhaps at the threshold of this new emerging, though seemingly new, and yet it's an ancient, common language. All right? So this new emerging language by script is before the biblical account, and precisely recorded the account of the first beginning by the oracle born script. So the method of my study is based on the first mentioned principle and the first time when the script appears. All right, so I just put these two information together to find meaning to it. So quickly, oracle bone, pick up some key points. They are just words inscribed on turtle shell and animal bones. Okay, used by the royal priests. Are we not royal priesthood here? And we need to know this thing, okay? Because you represent the nations, you are chosen and appointed a special one, okay? And that not to worry about the communicated with the dead ancestors, because the concept was that they thought it's superstitious. Only shaman of the Chinese use that, which is not true. Okay, it's just like saying that men come from apes. Okay, because they haven't got the knowledge on that. However, look at this. It was the earliest so-called Chinese religion, and also the very first creed. So quickly we talk about the biblical timeline from Adam, Abraham, about 2,000 years. Abraham to Jesus, about 2,000 years. Jesus to now, 2,000 years. One day in heaven is 1,000 years on earth. So 6 days in heaven only. Not even a week, my friend. But the 7th day is coming, amen? It's close. Hallelujah. Okay, so it's time for the Father to rest, but not till the millennium. The 1,000 years of peace. We are at that threshold, okay? And that We know the Genesis was written about 3,005 years ago. The book of Job even earlier. Remember, Job is a man of the East. And then we have the Oracle bond. That's now, based on the Chinese government, is 6,000 years old.
Wow.
So we are talking about the significant coincidence, all right? Okay, in terms of the timeline, okay, in accuracy and primitive way to give account of the past. If you haven't got the recording, the cameras and for iPhone, oral tradition are passed on to you and passed on to other people. Or you go on a written tradition by print or script, all right? So if you haven't got those, you need a prophet. And God speak to Moses, how the world come about. So at this point, the whole world embraced by faith how the world come about. Okay? So by revelation, Moses wasn't there, remember. However, all this can be confirmed by the authenticity, by time, historical, and so on. So what here we see that not only the timeline coincide, but we also see that this script is even used today in the simplified and traditional form. 6,000 years uninterrupted, preserving a creation story before the Bible was written 1,500 years. So we all know this, okay? We were once with common language. Second. Up. We have to stop the time because there's a technical issue. Because we're really under pressure of time. We were very important. It's a 6,000 years piece of information. Yeah, I'm going to do it in 20 minutes. Imagine the pressure they're under.
And brother, with you, time has stood still.
Okay, let us sort out what is happening. Go on, bang on.
What time is that?
It's one thing. Okay, we are not going to waste time because I'm going to change the laptop, okay? Because it's, I think we are all Bible scholars here, okay? So you know that there was a time that we have a common language. But I want to bring you to a point whereby God says that when you have a common language, there is a power too. There's nothing impossible. It was a very good power that God is entrusting to men, but they use it for their own glory. And God have to confuse the language, right? Okay, this is how He confused it. There's about 100 script here about the same word. Can anyone tell me what is that? Anyone?
Hi, Cheong.
Month. Month?
Month. M-O-N-D-T-H.
Money.
Money. What else? Okay, because the time factor is people.
People.
I've taken now the languages you know. Because Dr. Adele gave you away. I know what country you're coming from, so I took them out. Okay, right, look at that. These are all script with the same word, people. Okay, now look at how God has confused it. Alright, now we're going to just unpack that. There is a case for a common script. If we can find different nationality, looking at the same word and pronounce differently, it confirms that God has confused the language, but perhaps there was a script that was common. Secondly, it is simple enough to call it common. The third thing is that there should be a common need to learn it for all people. And therefore, today is not about the Chinese people only. It's for all people. You're getting me now? Because we're talking about the so-called the governance at the highest level. And language is power.
That's right.
Okay, not again. Right? So the first thing is that you have the Korean called people, yin. You have the Japanese called hito. And the middle one is Chinese called ren. Can you say all ren? Ren. How does it write? One left stroke and one right stroke. So I got three nationalities, and they look at the same word and they pronounce them differently. You say, but Joseph, they're of the same culture. Are they? They are not of the same culture. The Chinese, the Korean, the Japanese, but all different cultures. Right. Secondly, common enough, simple enough. Give me an example of a word for people that only has 2 strokes. What script is that? Ren, thank you. Chinese. Come on. There you go. Is that not the simplest?
Yes.
You got anyone more simpler than this?
No.
2 strokes. Head, toe, left and right. That makes a person. Okay, common enough? You want to make it more simpler? I got no word for it. Okay, oh, you're just coming along. And look at this. The faces that you see, maybe they never have a script. And I got a story on this. There was this leader, a director of the Youth for Mission. And he said, Joseph, we've been trying to make script for these people. And we've given up. I said, why? He said, just do it. We don't know when to end. But that's not the reason. The reason that we are no longer working on the script because only they are the one using it. Right? So there is a common need. Why don't we go and teach Chinese and tell them the Bible at the same time? Look at this, the opportunity, right? So right now, 1.39 billion people speak Mandarin. Talking about the potential to share the gospel just in terms by numbers. Secondly, you see that the number of countries that is currently using English is 110. How about Chinese? 33. Okay? And why are we talking about this? Look at the potential. It will grow to 100. When the 33 countries adopt 3 other countries, we will catch up in no time. And this is where the billion-dollar dream is going to be fulfilled, Dr. Hamila. Look at what it says here. The languages spoken in the fastest growing emerging economies ranked by demographic prospect. Right? First and foremost, China. Chinese. Second, India. And in this you have 2.6 million people to reach out to, not just in terms of gospel, but as teaching the Chinese alphabet.
That's right.
Whoa. Okay, you say, why then we go with Chinese? No brainer. Would you rather learn this Ren or you learn to write this? It's, okay, no comparison here, okay? So the strategy is this. It's called LOG. L-O-G, LOG. All right, but it's written not an easy one. Okay, why don't we teach the LOG people Chinese and let them teach the world? So there you go, straight away the 1.6 million market. 2.6, well, altogether. And to be ready to impact the nations. So, how we can do that? It's simple as ABC. How do you learn English? ABC. How do you learn maths? 1, 2, 3. How do you learn music? Do, re, mi. Okay? Any problem with that? ABC. What's one that I talk about ABC? I just sort of sleep on my. Anyway, let's move on. What about Chinese? Not even. Are you Chinese? Sorry. Korean. Okay. Are you enjoying this? Okay, good. Because Korea and Japan were coming. All right. We want to connect us based on a very ancient script. And you just saw that it means a lot. It may be simple, but so deep. Okay, we are just returning and redeeming our roots together as a people. Amen? Alright, so there is no ABC 1, 2, 3 and Do Re Mi. And that's my job to introduce the world as saying, today because of the time factor, I can't teach you ABC in the Chinese alphabet, but I want to give you a concept. Alright? So even though the Oracle Bone script is approximately 1,500 years earlier than the biblical creation's account, right? Without knowing the Bible, they got no clue what this word is all about. Let me just demonstrate to you. This is the script for Mu. Yes, good. 1 3. But it's called wood, right? Mu is wood. Su is tree. Okay? So 1 3, you call it a tree. Mu. 2 trees is called a Ling, garden. Is that simple enough for you? You have the 2 tree, and then you add 1 more tree on the top, it becomes forest. Okay, free lesson for you today. This is a woman, beautiful. 6,000 years old script in the middle. A woman submissively, all right, in a kneeling sitting position. And that's how we write it today, called 女. Say 女. Not 女, 女人. Okay, easy. Right. So what is this? A woman and how many? Okay, 2 trees. What is the name of these 2 trees? What are the names of these 2 trees? It's the Garden of Eden, where you have 2 trees, and the name are the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. If you can believe in this, your Chinese is far more better than the people in China. They got no clue what these 2 trees are. No clue at all. All they know is Mr. Lim, and that's it. Mr. Lim this is a 2 tree. Right. Okay, you know Mr. Lim? Yes. And he's written this way, 2 trees. But ask them, what is the name of this 2 tree? What? What do you mean? Oh, I tell you. But there was a story. They talk about the 2 trees. The tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Now, tell me, what is this? A woman with 2 trees? What are the names of the trees? Tree of knowledge and tree of life. What is the name of the woman? Thank you. The Chinese doesn't know that. You have to tell them. The woman in between of 2 trees, what does it mean? Is the woman facing the left or the right? Thank you. It's to the left. Okay, and the word is called covered. She was craving to a tree when God says, do not eat the tree of knowledge. And she backed to the tree of life where she's supposed to eat. This is a woman. And what is that? Handbag. No. Mouth. I just told like 5 minutes, alright? Chewing. No handbag. Mouth, okay? Alright, now you're getting an idea now.
Yeah.
It's for the word 如果, that means if. Look at the woman facing the mouth. What is the mouth? Every word that comes from the mouth of God. If Eve were to obey God, we shall not all die. Look at that. Just in one word, it depicts the whole story as at the beginning, the point of our fall. And so now our job is that don't eat. Don't eat the tree of knowledge. Allow life. The life of Christ in us. Amen. Hallelujah. So, okay. How many of you would like to have my Chinese character? Put your hand. If the book, for the book. Anyone? Okay, I know everyone. Who doesn't want it? Please put up your hand. Who doesn't want it? You sure? Can you witness of that? Okay, please go to my wife. Right? Put your name. Okay, and say, I'm coming to Joseph alphabet class. Not only they get a book, I will train you to teach you language. Okay, and that's free. Only with a partnership of $1,000 US. So how many of us here? Oh, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Look at what's coming. All right. Going forward, I'm sorry. The book is still in printing. Okay, will be printed soon. 2 materials. 1 trainer manual. Okay, which is actually you have 3 days of training. All right, and we certify the teacher by having them know how to teach, and also the Chinese textbook. First and foremost, you are my family. Pray for us. Because you have adopted us.
Yes, that's right.
This journey. Secondly, we want to finalize the editing and the script and text. Not only that, we want to put the graphics and the formatting, and then to have it printed before Christmas this year.
Oh, amen. Yes, yes.
Thank you. All right, and we need money. Thank you. We already got the money now.
Okay.
Are there 50 people here? 1,000 each? And the good news is that tithing is inclusive. to PCI, PCU, and PGI.
Okay,
Okay?
that's great.
Is that a deal? You're so quiet. No, you may not have the money, but you know someone who knows.
Yes.
But there's a sense of urgency with what is China today. You see that they are demolishing churches. Now, don't jump into the conclusion that he's against and anti-Christian, okay? Give me time for this because it's important. We don't run away and, just because of time, right? Okay, it's life. And so, sorry about the next speaker. I think he's not here yet, so it's fine. Okay, there is a reason. China is reasonable. I know why they demolish these churches. Because they're confronting the government and embarrassing them. They're threatening the national security, saying that they're in connection with the outside influence. They are like governing the country, like a parent or protecting the children. What you are seeing here today will change them because they don't know what to do. They are very panicked with all this expression. They are fearful. Pray for China. Don't misunderstand them. They're not a threat. Okay, I tell you why. China, what is the war for?
That's right. Adele and I had a chance to walk on the wall of China, and they tell you in Chinese philosophy that until you are not a real man until you've walked on the wall. Well, I can understand that because after the first tier getting up there, I almost had to have oxygen. but it was a wonderful experience. I could only make the first tier, but I tell you, you can see the history right there. You can feel things come alive. And I understand that one of the reasons they built the wall was to protect themselves, as China was protecting itself from the hordes of Mongolians that wanted to reinvade the country and remove people. So that wall was a protection.
Sorry, your time is up. Just took 5 minutes of my time. And you got the idea that the wall of China is not invasive. In the thousands of years, hey, they never have invaded any countries, come on. That wall stands to testify that. They care the people, as long as they don't come over, we'll come over to you. All right? But look at what they're doing today, the Belt Road Project. Hey, come on, let's be rejoicing in that. We'll be on high-speed train, visiting the countries and bringing PGI to the nations. Hallelujah. No, China is not a trend. Try not to misunderstand them. The Uyghur people, because they have a group of people slashing and killing people in the train station without reason. And so China, the extreme way is to, you call it brainwash, but they re-educate them and teach them Chinese. But they haven't got the biblical Chinese. All right? Now, we have talked about this, right? It comes back to I started with Christ. And I want to end with Christ. But one thing is that in this last 2 days, something just dawned on me. President Xi has been appointed as I want to say emperor, appointed as a president indefinitely. You may say, oh, no, there's no freedom, there's no democracy. No, he needs to have a project to finish. You can't do that every 4 years to change a president. But look at this. His kingdom will never end. I'm talking about the Christ. Yes. But what is the government that depicts that governance?
Yes. Amen.
I just told you that.
Yeah.
How can PGI ignore that? We are working to the very top level.
That's right, yes.
And I do believe that what we are talking here is how we have been rejoicing, presidency will embrace. So, Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Is that right?
Amen.
I think biblical education is. Because if education alone is going to change the world, it's unchanging the world.
That's right.
Look at the world today. I know, Dr. Joe is going to ask you what is, your take today. So I hope you say that I will take the Chinese alphabet back to my country. Okay. So with that, I want to just throw open this journey for us all. We have been to conferences after conferences. It's no continuation. We hope that we open up a journey, a long journey that's beyond us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.